In this video, I'm going to show you how to start an LLC with multiple owners step by step in 2026. Hey guys, welcome back to Biz Builders, your go-to source for business formation tips, entrepreneurship advice, and practical guides that actually help you get your business started. Now, starting a business with partners can be incredibly exciting. Maybe you and a friend are launching an online business together. Maybe you're starting a consulting firm, marketing agency, a real estate venture, or even a small local business. But here's the thing, once more than one person is involved in a business, things can get a little more complicated from a legal standpoint. You need clear ownership structure, defined responsibilities, and legal protection for everyone involved. And that's exactly why many partnerships choose to form a multi-member LLC. A multi-member LLC gives all owners liability protection, separates personal assets from the business, and creates a formal structure for how the company operates. But forming an LLC with multiple members does involve a few extra considerations compared to a single member LLC. You'll need to define ownership percentages, appoint a registered agent, file formation documents with the state, apply for an EIN, and create a solid operating agreement that clearly outlines how the business will run. So in this full 2026 guide, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to start an LLC with multiple owners step by step. And I'll also explain why many entrepreneurs choose to use a professional service like Northwest Registered Agent to help handle the process and avoid costly mistakes. If you want to check them out, I do have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below the video. All right, so let's start with the basics. So first things first, what exactly is a multi-member LLC? A multi-member LLC is simply a limited liability company that has two or more owners. In LLC terminology, those owners are called members. Each member owns a percentage of the business, and those ownership percentages are usually defined in the company's operating agreement. Now, the reason many partnerships choose an LLC structure is because it provides liability protection. Without an LLC, most partnerships operate as general partnerships by default, and that means each partner can be personally liable for business debts or legal issues. But once you form an LLC, the business becomes its own legal entity. So generally speaking, the personal assets of the members are protected from business liabilities. That's a huge advantage when multiple people are involved in running a company. Now, forming a multi-member LLC isn't necessarily difficult, but there are a few important things you and your partners need to figure out before you actually file anything with the state. When multiple owners are involved, the structure of the business becomes much more important. You need to be clear about who owns what percentage of the company, who's responsible for making decisions, and how profits will be shared. Skipping those conversations early on can create serious problems later, so it's always best to get everyone aligned before moving forward. So with that in mind, let's walk through the exact steps involved in starting an LLC with multiple owners. All right, so before you even file your LLC, the first step is making sure all owners agree on the structure of the business. Now, this is one of the most important conversations you'll have as partners. You'll need to decide things like ownership percentages, who will manage the business, how profits will be distributed, and how major decisions will be made. Some businesses split ownership evenly between partners, while others divide ownership based on investment, responsibilities, or experience. And while these conversations can sometimes feel a little uncomfortable, having clear agreements early on can prevent major problems later. Once everyone agrees on the structure, you're ready to move on to forming the LLC. Next up is choosing a name for your LLC. Just like with any LLC, your business name must be unique within the state where you're registering the company. It also needs to include an LLC designator such as LLC or limited liability company. For example, if your business name is Growth Marketing Group, your registered LLC name might be Growth Marketing Group LLC. Now, one thing people often don't realize is that even if a name looks available, it can still get rejected if it's considered too similar to another registered business. So it's always a good idea to check your state Secretary of State business database before submitting your paperwork. And it's also smart to have a couple backup name options ready just in case your first choice isn't available. Next, you'll need to appoint a registered agent. Every LLC in the United States is required to have one. A registered agent is responsible for receiving official legal documents on behalf of the company. This includes government notices, tax documents, and legal correspondence. Now, technically, one of the members of the LLC can act as the registered agent if they live in the state where the LLC is formed. But there are a few downsides to doing that. First, the registered agent's address becomes part of the public business record. Second, someone must be available at that address during normal business hours to receive documents. That's why many businesses choose to use a professional service like Northwest Registered Agent, because they provide a professional business address and handle official legal mail for your company. If you want to use them, I do have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below the video. It also helps keep the personal addresses of the business owners private. All right, so this is the step where your LLC officially gets created. To form the LLC, you'll need to file a document called the Articles of Organization with your state Secretary of State. This document typically includes your your LLC name, registered agent information, business address, and details about how the company will be managed. Most states allow you to file this form online. However, the form can sometimes be confusing if you've never completed it before. For example, many states require you to specify whether your LLC will be member managed or manager managed, which affects how authority and decision making are structured within the company. Each state also charges a filing fee, which can range anywhere from around $50 to several hundred, depending on the state. Once your articles of organization are approved, your LLC is officially registered. After your LLC is approved, the next step is getting an EIN. EIN stands for Employer Identification Number, and you can think of it as a tax identification number for your business. Multi-member LLCs are required to have an EIN because they are generally taxed as partnerships by default. You'll need this number to open a business bank account, file taxes, and hire employees if your company grows. You can apply for an EIN directly through the IRS website for free. However, the application does ask several questions about your business structure and responsible party, which can sometimes be confusing for new business owners. Now, this step is especially important for LLCs with multiple owners. You'll need to create a detailed operating agreement. This document outlines how the business will operate internally and defines the rights and responsibilities of each member. It typically includes ownership percentages, voting rights, profit distribution, management structure, and what happens if a member wants to leave the company. Without a clear operating agreement, disagreements between partners can quickly turn into major problems. So this document plays a crucial role in keeping the business organized and protecting everyone involved. Now, once your LLC is formed, there are usually ongoing requirements you'll need to keep up with. Most states require annual reports or other compliance filings to keep your LLC in good standing. Missing these deadlines can lead to penalties, late fees, or even administrative dissolution of the company. And when you're running a business with multiple owners, the last thing you want is compliance issues creating unnecessary headaches for everyone involved. Because of that, many businesses choose to work with a professional registered agent service that helps handle official legal mail and keeps important documents organized. One popular option for this is Northwest Registered Agent, which handles legal notices and important state correspondence for your business. If you want to check them out, I do have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below the video. So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, forming an LLC with multiple members definitely seems doable, but there are quite a few moving parts involved. And honestly, that's exactly why many entrepreneurs choose to use Northwest Registered Agent instead of trying to figure everything out themselves. When you file an LLC on your own, you're responsible for navigating government websites, understanding legal terminology, filling out formation documents correctly, appointing a registered agent, and making sure everything complies with your state's rules. And when multiple owners are involved, the process can become even more complicated because there are more decisions to make and more details that need to be handled properly. This is where Northwest Registered Agent really helps simplify things. They specialize in LLC formation and registered agent services, and their platform walks you through the entire process step by step. Instead of trying to interpret complicated government forms or worrying about submitting something incorrectly, they guide you through everything in a much clearer and easier way. They'll prepare and file your LLC formation documents with the state, provide a professional registered agent address so none of the members' personal addresses have to be listed publicly, and help make sure the paperwork is submitted correctly the first time. For partnerships, this privacy protection can be especially helpful because it keeps personal information out of public records. Another reason people like Northwest Registered Agent is their customer support. If you ever have questions about your LLC setup or compliance requirements, you can talk to someone who actually understands business formation rather than just dealing with automated responses. They also send reminders for important filings and deadlines so your LLC stays in good standing with the state. So while you can absolutely start a multi-member LLC yourself, many entrepreneurs prefer using Northwest Registered Agent simply because it saves time, protects their privacy, and helps make sure everything is done correctly from the start. And if you want to check them out, I do have a discount link for Northwest Registered Agent in the description and pinned comment below the video. So now you know exactly how to start an LLC with multiple members in 2026. The process involves agreeing on your ownership structure, choosing your business name, appointing a registered agent, filing your articles of organization, getting your EIN, creating a strong operating agreement, and staying compliant with state requirements. Once your LLC is officially formed, you'll have legal protection for all members and a clear structure for running the business together. If you found this guide helpful, definitely give the video a thumbs up so more entrepreneurs can find it. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more LLC tutorials, business formation guides, and practical entrepreneurship advice. Also, if you have any questions about forming an LLC with partners, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I read every single comment and I'm always happy to help. And if you'd rather have professionals handle the LLC formation process, you can check out Northwest Registered Agent using the discount link in the description and pinned comment below the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.